Trash
man.
Nah, we back.
One,
As you can see, the trash bag section is
already
up and going.
Welcome
to another edition of Talking Sports with the Know-It-Alls. I'm the Know-It-All, Jimmy. I got my boy already worked up in the trash bag section. We got Ant.
Going on,
we got Ralph here. This gonna be a great show today. Y'all ready, boy? It's gonna be real interesting. We talking GOATs today. Greatest of all time. We're gonna do our NFL edition. So we're gonna talk about who we think the GOAT as a quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, and defensive player. So we're going to give our top five, and our number one, we're going to go to a brief discussion on why, on our personal opinion, we think that person is number one in that particular category. Our first topic is going to be quarterback. So I'm going to start that off. So my top five quarterbacks. Number five, I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers. Number four, I'm going to go John Elway. Number three, I'm going to go Tom Brady. Number
he already starting off wrong.
Number
y'all.
two,
oh my God,
I'm going Joe Montana. And like I said before the show even started, it's our personal opinion. Number two, I'm going Joe Montana. And number one, my all-time is going to be the Sheriff, Peyton Manning. Number-wise, I think my boy played probably 17 total seasons. Mm-hmm. Set all the records. I mean, they've been broken since. You know, I think my boy got the most Pro Bowls. I think Brady just had it. I think he did more damage in less time. You know, people just breaking his records now, and they playing in their 20th year. Drew Brees, 19th year. Mm-hmm. You know, my boy, other than Marino, I think Peyton was just all that, you know, first quarterback to win the Super Bowl with two different teams. Even though the second one he won, he really didn't win it. The defense won it. He just, that's my personal opinion of what he did. You know, I know he lost a lot to Brady when he was in Indy. The real GOAT. He lost a lot, but I think at the time they just had a better team. You know what I'm saying? But I think my boy, you can tell by the respect he got. He get from people. For me, he the GOAT as far as quarterbacks. Everybody gonna look at it different. Everybody look, you know, some people look at numbers wise. I look at number wise, but I'm a eye test dude myself. You know, my boy will come up and choke in every now and then because he's trying to do too much. But in my eye, he the GOAT. As far as quarterbacks, like I say, Joe Montana, then Tom Brady, Elway, and Rodgers for me. So your quarterbacks, who your top five at?
Break out the little sheet. Top five, I got going 5-1. I got Joe Montana, of course, you know.
At five?
Yeah. I don't have no particular at the bottom. Just the first one that counts.
Go ahead.
I got Montana, I got Marino, I got Aikman, Manning, and then I got Brady. I got Brady solely for the purpose of the Super Bowls. Championship quarterback, always make the throws supposed to. Never always had an all-pro receiver all the time in consecutive years and always made it happen. I got Tom. That's period. There's I ain't say you did.
That's your
ain't
opinion.
Nothing else needs to be said. I got Tom Brady. Tom always show up in big games, period.
If your coach done cheated beforehand, I guess you will. But we're going to leave that there. What you got, Big Ralph?
Tom is my GOAT. Raised out.
5-1. I got Marino. I'm a big Marino fan. Love Marino. Montana. Grew up watching him. My dad loves Joe Montana, so I've always been a Montana fan. Aaron Rodgers. Give me nothing else to say. I hate to say it, but Peyton Manning. And then number one, Brady. Brady, all-time greatest quarterback. Statistically, he's there in almost every category. Yeah. 7 Super Bowl rings, fighting for 8 this year. I mean, you really can't. I mean, what much more you can say with that? I mean, Brady is the GOAT. Point blank something for the QB position. So, but the other 4 are no slouches either. I mean, I really don't like Peyton Manning like that. I think he's very great. I think he's a great quarterback. I just hate him because my dad's a big fan of him and Jimmy's a big fan of him. I've been hearing it since I was a shorty. I'm tired of him. But it was always great that Brady beat him majority of the time. So, but with the other ones, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, being a Bears fan, I mean, you see Aaron Rodgers.
Man, we ain't asked you to explain all that, man. Just explain your GOAT.
I'm just saying, Brady, you can't. There's no need to explain.
Brady did more with less.
There's no need to explain.
Brady did more with less.
I'm going to agree with more with less.
He definitely did. You can't take that away.
We're going to agree to disagree. So our next position, we're going to go to running back. I'm going to let you go first with running back and on your top 5 and your GOAT.
Running backs, my top 5, bottom to the first one, I got Jim Brown for 5th, Dickerson for number 4, I got Barry Sanders for 3, Peyton for 2, and I got Emmitt Smith for 1. For the simple fact, nobody gives him credit for having an all-time rushing record. He always stayed. He never had any real serious injury. Was a tough back. I think one season he set the most touchdowns for a season. Of course, that eventually got broken. Never fumbled in a big game, and always in Super Bowl, always showed up and performed. And I think that everybody, just probably like y'all two, got a problem because it's been said that he has the best offensive line that some people have ever seen. That's not his problem. And I'm so glad it was a running back like him that actually took advantage of it with the yards and the touchdown. So that's why I got it. I got Emmitt Smith as my number 1. That's a spicy take.
Give me your top 5 again.
My top 5, I got Jim Brown, Eric Dickerson, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ralph.
We'll throw your list out the way. So, Ralph, who you got for your top 5?
5-1, I got Brown/Dickerson.
I wanted to do a slash, but you have the courage to do it.
I got Adrian Peterson for LT3, which is LaDainian Tomlinson for people that don't know. Barry Sanders 2, and then Walter Payton number 1. Walter Payton, I came with. I mean, it's nothing more to say. Ran harder than anybody. Did what he had to do. And LT is a great running back. I've always been a fan of LT. So I'm not going to explain nothing else with that.
So, my list. My top 5. My 5-1. My 5th running back would be LaDainian Tomlinson.
Respect it.
Y'all killing me.
My 4th running back. My 4th running back, which is probably one of my top 5 favorite players ever, would be Marshall Faulk. Would be my 4th greatest. My 3rd would be Jim Brown. Just on the years he played and the damage he did. That's the reason why I'm expanding on Jim Brown. I believe if Jim Brown would have played, for him to do the damage in 9 years, and it took Cats 12 years to break, and he played only 12 games a season. And to set the records he did, if he played 14, 15 years, he probably would have got 20,000 yards. So the damage he did, Jim Brown is number 3 for me. Number 2, gonna be Barry Sanders. Number 1, gonna be Peyton. Gonna be Walter Payton. I heard you talk about Emmitt talking about tough. You know, Peyton, he was tough. His teams were trash when he first came to the Bears. He was the Bears offense and was leading the league in rushing. Everything about him was tough. He was versatile. He caught the ball. He ran the ball. He was just a monster. He was just a monster. So I'm always gonna respect his grittiness. You know, he didn't get a team to probably about his 7th, 8th year like a Michael Jordan. Then the Bears started getting good. But the first 5, 6 seasons, he was all they had, and he was getting his brains beat.
Premier League 74,
75 to 87. And for him to put up the numbers he did, and it took Emmitt probably an extra 2 years to break Peyton's record. I think it took Emmitt like 14 years to break his record. Because Peyton didn't play a lot of playoff games. So Emmett did it. Emmett did it, and I think in more games than it took Peyton to set it. So I'm a person. People look at numbers. I look at the games played. It took you to get your numbers.
I'm gonna say something.
If you did more work in less games, to me that's a better player. If it took you 15 years to do what it took me 9, I don't think because it took you 15 that you're better than the other person. But that's just me.
The only offense,
it took you long enough. So Peyton is my number 1 running back all time for me. So we gonna jump off that. We gonna keep the ball rolling. We gonna go to receiver. So I'm gonna let Ralph go first this time. Ralph, give me your 5 as far as receivers.
Don't disappoint me, Ralph, please.
We got Marvin Harrison at 5, Mr. Reliable Larry Fitzgerald 4, Megatron 3, Moss 2, and Rice 1. I could have went either way with Jerry Rice or Randy Moss. I mean, Jerry Rice just off of statistics alone is there. Everything. I mean, his impact on the game, the way he had to work, and when he first came in the league, he made himself a better player. But Randy Moss too. I mean, Randy Moss was just there. I like Randy Moss' charisma, the way he played. He had that edge like you can't guard me, don't matter who was guarding him. So they're 1 and 2 with me either or. But I'm gonna go with Jerry Rice this time as the GOAT for that position. So keep it simple.
Go ahead, and I'm gonna let you piggyback off that.
I got it. I mean, I got a questionable 5. This is me personally. I got Lynn Swan for number 5. That's just me. Marvin Harrison is 4. Owens is 3. Moss is 2nd. Of course, Jerry Rice is the first one. I mean, I know they put a big thing on speed, but when I found he ran like a 4.6 and he was still able to do the stuff that he was did, I just thought it was amazing because a 4.6 is what equivalent like a tight end, like maybe like a power running back,
maybe like a lineman nowadays.
And the beat. DBs running 4.4s and 4.3s and 4.2s and consistently beat him. I used to see him on highlights beating Dion, like on a quick move, and he just gone. So Rice is the GOAT. He's the best receiver I've ever seen. Like, just period. Even to this day, just the way he ran routes, always caught the ball. That's just me. It's Jerry Rice for me. It's not even.
So I like the T.O. edition though.
So for my 5, I'm a numbers guy, but I'm also I'm an eye guy when I judge people. If I seen you, it's what I seen. I go on numbers, but it's an eye test for me. So my number 5 is gonna be Sterling Sharp. As short as his career was, he did much. I think Sterling Sharp played 7 years.
Yeah,
he made 6
All
Pro. And like the eye test, he was a dog.
John Madden said probably been.
He was putting up numbers that receivers are just putting up now. The Devontae Adams and stuff like that. He was putting these numbers up at 91 when people really weren't throwing the ball. He wasn't real big. He wasn't real fast. He was a monster. So I'm just going to explain on him because a lot of people may see this and be like Sterling Sharp. But if you know, you know. My number four gonna be Larry Fitzgerald. My number three gonna be Randy Moss. My number 3. My number 2 gonna be T.O. For me, my number 1 gonna be Jerry Rice, just like you guys. Another thing, like I'll piggyback on the eye test. Jerry Rice, the only receiver I ever seen that put fear in defensive coordinators. Everybody going to 40 times. Jerry Rice had game speed.
Yeah.
He's the first receiver I've seen that could play every position. So I like the versatility. Wherever you needed him to go, he can do the work there. He was a dog. I mean, I've seen T.O., I've seen Moss, I've seen Megatron, I've seen everybody, but I've never seen a receiver put the fear in people the way Jerry Rice did. Jerry Rice, to me, was the equivalent of Michael Jordan when they came to how, like Jerry Rice played, you had to leave your people at the crib because you was liable to get embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? So he was just a dog, man. Even when he got on, was playing with the Raiders.
Ever seen his little workouts?
He was still putting work in. So
1,000-yard receiving back to back with the Raiders.
The numbers he set, man. Just with the 49ers, if you put his Raider years and the Seahawk, the little time he was with the Seahawk, you just put his 49er years. The numbers is crazy. The numbers is crazy. And like I say, it wasn't even catching like 120 balls then. You know what I'm saying? So Rice that dude to me. So the next position we gonna go at, which should be real interesting, is tight end. So I'm gonna go first on tight end with my 5-1. 5, I'm gonna go Antonio Gates. 4, I went with Kellen Winslow because I think he was the original, everything, the athletic tight end and everything. 3, I'm gonna go Gronk. Gronk did a lot of damage in a short time, but I think his his injuries did him a little bit. 2, I'm gonna go Shannon Sharp.
Got to.
I like Shannon, what he did. He basically was a receiver playing tight end. And number 1 gonna be Tony Gonzalez. He brought straight athleticism to tight end. You know what Kelsey is doing now, Tony Gonzalez was doing years ago. Yeah. He was putting up, like I said, receiver numbers at tight end. Everybody knew he was getting the ball. He was game planning him, and you couldn't stop him. So, Tony Gonzalez is going to be my GOAT tight end. And I'm going to pass it on to you, Ant. What you think?
What I got for the tight end, my top 5. From 5, I got Jason Witten for 5, Antonio Gates for 4, got Shannon Sharp for 3, I got Tony Gonzalez for 2, I got Kellen Winslow Sr. for the first, just my probably the first athletic tight end that I seen from when I saw the tight ends when I was a kid, and I seen the old film. And I'm like, oh, this guy got to be it. He played one of the best games I ever seen for a tight end. I think he had the record for the most receiving. It was in a playoff game. I think Dan Fouts was his quarterback. I've never seen a tight end play like that in the game, and that's all I need to see. Also, Kellen Winslow Sr. had to be the best tight end for me, top 5. So
who you got, Ralph?
I got Jason Witten, number 5. Kellen, Sr., 4. Gronk, 3. Travis Kelce, 2. Tony Gonzalez, 1. I think, and I wanted to put Shannon in there too, but it was kind of like him and Kelce is like whatever. But I think Travis Kelce right now is going to probably be one of the greatest tight ends probably ever. Because you really have to game plan for him, and the ball's coming to him just like Tony Gonzalez. So that's why Tony Gonzalez is number 1. I think athleticism and all, and like Jimmy said, you really had to know that he was on the field and where he was at all times. And then also, too, most of the top out of everybody that we picked, all are former basketball players.
Yeah.
Like the tight end position almost seems like you play basketball in college, you can play tight end. Because most tight ends are around 6'4" to 6'8", maybe, depending on where they are.
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham's is tall too, but so it's all about, your ability to box out, block, stretch arms, and be able to catch the ball at high points. So Tony Gonzalez always been a big fan of, so I think he's my number 1 without thought. I think Travis Kelce will break all those records. Gronk would have done it, but he's been injured and he's so slow. So I think Kelce.
Sad, but I put Jason Witten and not Gronk because people do. If they actually look at Gronk numbers, it's not even close to some of the tight ends that we just named as a group. But no. I know he did short damage in short time. I was just saying that's the reason. For me, I was surprised when I saw it.
And Jason Witten just reliable. They always throwing the ball. That's it. Dallas didn't have nothing for years.
That was Tony Romo guy.
So he just always throwing the ball. That was it. But Gronk was the big play. Big play tight end. Just like Travis Kelce is now. So along with Gonzalez.
Our last of the GOATs, because this show is really going kind of fast. Our last of the GOATs are the defensive players. Regardless of positions, there have been a lot of great defensive players in the league. So I'm going to let Ralph go first. I'm going to let you go second. Then I'll go last. So, Ralph, what's your top 5 as far as defenders?
I didn't really do a top 5. I just did a top 1. I went with Prime. Like, I couldn't do nothing else. I debated about this for 2 days, and I just really was like, it's just Prime. Prime had his down points too, like anybody else, but in terms of walking and talking and doing what he had to do and just the trash talking he did, I think ain't nobody better than Prime. Ed Reed was good, Troy Polamalu was good, Rod Woodson, Charles Woodson as well. But
from the safety. I
think at the end of the day, it's Prime. Prime literally locked people down. He didn't mind guarding the best player on the field. So I think Prime was one. It's probably my favorite. I thought about a lot of linebackers too and I thought about defensive ends and all, but I'm going to just go with Prime and leave it at that. I ain't really at the top 5.
Go ahead, man.
Ralph kind of just took it. I just got Deion Sanders, like, lock up anywhere on the field. You could go watch the little old Prime stuff. The offensive coordinators were just telling the quarterback, hey, look, this week we play the Falcons or the 49ers of Dallas. Don't even think about throwing the ball to the side. Please. Nope. Not a slant, not a screen pass, nothing. Because he Johnny on the spot. I know they gave him flack for not being a good tackler, but look, when you that good in coverage, you don't need to tackle if you're getting the ball. If you're picking the ball up, what I need to tackle you for? I kind of tried to debate around it, like, is there anybody else that make an impact other than Prime? The only people that I could think of is probably maybe a LT. No disrespect to, like, old Steelers linebacker like Jack Lambert or Ray Lewis or maybe a Brian Urlacher. I know y'all not Bears fans at all, but I just have to go with Deion Sanders. Maybe an honorable mention is just Lawrence Taylor. Like, I'll see some of them highlights. That guy rushing the passer, dropping back.
We just asked the number one, man. We ain't asked
Deion Sanders. I watch him take 5 minutes for one pick.
Reggie White.
Right.
My top 5. I got Ronnie Lott at number 5. I got Mean Joe Green at number 4. I got Dion at number 3. I got Reggie White at number 2.
It's gonna be
I told you.
I got LT at number 1.
I told you what he gonna do.
I knew it was gonna be. I figured somebody was gonna pick LT.
LT was a straight terror. First rookie, first player to win Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, same year. Last defensive player to win MVP of the league. The LT, 10-time Pro Bowl, 10, 11-time Pro Bowler. Probably made all-pro teams, probably 10 times. Straight menace. The Giants had a great defense. They weren't better than the Bears. But LT was like a one-man wrecking crew. I think Deion was tight. Like you guys said, I think the knock on Deion for me was a lot of the tackling, but like you say, a lot of teams when he throw to him, and that's a sign of respect for him. But I like Deion. I really like Deion. But like him, Reggie White, and LT, they were straight like disruptors. You know what I'm saying? They would wreck your whole game plan. So for my eye test, I'm going with LT as the greatest defensive player. But like I say, it's a good discussion. All of us got our own take on it, why we think, who we think, what. Nobody's wrong. Because, everybody look at sports different. So that's the good thing about these debates is your opinion not always right. I may not be wrong, but I doubt it. But on that note, this show went kind of cool. That was another episode of the Know-It-Alls. That was a great show. You can catch us every few weeks. We're gonna try to get y'all something new every few weeks. We got a couple things in mind with the new year. So everything. Once again, I want to say Love 1030. I want to thank the fellas for coming out. Thank the Trash Bag Ant and Big Ralph for coming
As long
out.
as he didn't say Bill Romanowski was the greatest defensive player all
I
time.
want to say
Denver
peace.
Broncos.
See y'all on the next show.
Shit.
Later.
Brian Boswell.
You know what I'm talking about? They be killing me with this, man.
Damn, man.